Hi, Sagittarius. I hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the last 2 weeks of February. So we're going to do a general and then go into a couple relationship read, and then those of you who are in a complicated situation. So this first one, we're going to connect to all parts of life. We have the full moon in Leo, which is happening in your ninth house on the 16th. And that full moon is also quincunxing Pluto, while Venus and Mars are also conjunct in that same space, which happens to be your second house, while it's squaring the node. So what might this mean for you? Well, first of all, let's talk about what the ninth house is. Besides it being your home, it is your home, right? Ninth house, the default is, oh, it's higher education, it's travel, it's advertising, marketing, father-in-law, travel, launching, anything, right? Publishing, all of that is true. Sag, all of that is true. But I'm getting a different feeling with this full moon in Leo. This full moon in Leo, and the moon is emotions, and Leo is about your joy, and it has to do with love, and it has to do with like deep, deep, profound happiness. It also has to do with children, right? So there can be a lot of realizations in these areas somehow connected to the ninth house. But this is where it might get tricky. And for those of you who are feeling a little stuck, this first explanation might make a lot of sense to you, because the ninth house on the whole, right? One whole thing in the eighth house in your chart right here ends in the eighth house of the horoscope. So that eighth house has to do with divorce. It has to do with cycles within investments, selling a home, buying a home, the stock market, sharing resources with a partner. These are all big things. It's where you show up as a we in a connection. The eighth house is also, it's got a financial vibe to it and also a relationship vibe to it, right? These houses are big. They mean more than one thing. But whatever ends, something ends in the eighth house. The ninth house comes as that natural consequence, right? And that ends up sparking all sorts of questions about, now what? Now what after that divorce? Or now what after that ending of that relationship? Or now what after the ending of that person's passing? Now what? And it's everything that comes after that, after something is kind of like dead and gone, or at least what you perceive to be dead and gone. And it can hide, that ninth house can hide your ability to move on from what can be considered a dead point. And very often I'll see people stuck in a moment, just not able to move on from a certain event or a certain trauma, and have a lot of difficulty in connecting with the energy of the ninth house, which is faith, which is religion, which is moving forward with integrity, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because none of these houses hang in isolation, right? They all sort of speak to each other. So if you're dealing with something where you're in the midst of processing, but you're feeling rather stuck, understand that it could be that. And also understanding that the landlord of the eighth house is Scorpio, which happens to be the north node of the moon right now. So there's a lot of release, and you're being asked to really look really honestly at yourself about whatever ended, whatever's needing to be released, and your ability to release it with honesty. And, did you act with integrity? If not, maybe you need to make amends. Or if someone else didn't act with integrity and you had no control of the circumstances, accepting that, right? Easier said than done, I understand, right? But the primary role of this house, just understand, is truly to widen your perspective. And that's why we throw in higher education, we throw religion, because all of these things widen our perspective, right? It's all about teaching us something new, helping us to move forward, right? So looking for those lessons right now in this full moon in Leo, so that you can connect with your joy. Now, for some of you, it's going to be realizing when maybe you need to go back and fix something and make amends. Others of you are going to be realizing what it is that you need to heal to move on. And others of you are just going to be learning some sort of strategies that you need to expand and grow your life in the way that you want. Some of you may be all of those, right? But I feel like the light of this full moon is going to be showing you your own personal direction, right? Because that's what it's all about, your home, the ninth house, right? The highway that you have to take in life, right? And setting you free from any fear that you carry still from that 8th house. So if you have a fear of intimacy, that's going to show up in your 8th house, but it's going to make you feel stuck in your 9th house. If you have a fear of blending with other, if you have a fear of sharing intimacy, communication, resources, in a way where there's other, whether it's in business, whether it's in relationship, whether it's in family, it doesn't matter. That's going to make you kind of stuck in that 9th house. And it's going to have you, it's going to challenge your ability to move forward, right? So it's very worth looking at the fear of change that you carry from that 8th house, if that's your story right now. While, right, because if you can do that, then you're going to have an image, meaning the answer, meaning a path shown to you of all the things that could come after that, of all the possibilities of where it is that you can go. So I hope that was helpful for you, because sometimes for us to just, a lot of people are like, well, I'm not launching anything and I'm not particularly religious, so it's like, what does that even mean? All right, guys. So let's get started with this first spread. And again, I'm going to connect it to money. I'm going to connect it to maybe business situations. We could connect it to family. Take the messages and connect it to your life, however you see fit. And then we're going to break out into relationship. I'm not going to be addressing singles this time. Let me say this in the front of the video. Those of you who are single, I'm going to be doing a separate video for you guys, okay? Because my videos are so long to begin with. I know a lot of you complain about that. That's why I timestamp. You don't have to sit for the whole thing. Okay, let's see what we have. Ooh, we have Ace of Pentacles. Sad, very good. Somebody either something new and something new that's hitting your life in a very practical, like tangible way. So for some of you, this could be a new job, a new business, money coming to you through, I don't know, a settlement or an inheritance, or for a lot of you, this could even be a new connection, because Pentacle is also mental, physical, emotional connection, but something new. And but what I like about it is this tangibility to it. Does it make sense? Where we're not talking about air or emotions, like there's something hardcore that came in. So some sort of new beginning, because Ace is always a new beginning, which is really nice. And this is very auspicious for any area of your life, right? And whatever this is, it's going to help to fuel happiness and contentment for you getting what you want. So this could be for some of you money coming to you. Others of you are simply shown how to achieve what it is that you want, that's going to end up resulting in that foundation of stability. So, maybe friends, whatever it is, but something new. And then we have the 10 of Swords. Okay, so this is where you're at right now. And it's being challenged by the wheel. You're having a hard time moving something forward, right? Because the wheel is Jupiter. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, rules you, right? It's all about moving forward with integrity. You're challenged by everything that I just said. Sag, I feel like this. See, that's why I was called to give that. Those of you who've been watching me, when do I ever explain the 9th house like that? Other than maybe my private readings, but not on YouTube, but I was called to do that. 10 of Swords is an ending to a time period. And I do feel like you're feeling like something has been unfair. Someone's been unfair to you. So whether, because swords are words. So whether it was gossip in the workplace, gossip within family, an argument with your significant other, whatever it was like a lot of things were said that are very hard for you to get past. But it almost feels like whatever happened, it's like making you feel stuck right now. And you want to let it go, but it's kind of like you can't, because the wheel is sticking you. But it definitely seems like Sagittarius, whatever this is referring to, it has reached a turning point. There's a turning point here, and there's this call for you to take a chance on something. Because this is everything, this is all very fated, but it's like, I don't want to hear, it's almost like you're saying, Jackie, shut up with the fate. I don't want to hear about fate. I don't want to hear about turning point. I just know that I feel like I have not been treated very fairly. And that may be completely true, right? But I'm just saying, like, the way the wheel is showing up as a block, the block is a call to recognizing, hey, Sagittarius, there's a turning point here. You have to take a chance. You have to move forward. There's got to be this moving forward. And you're like, no, I'm not moving forward in this. But there's confusion here. So, because we have the Seven of Cups, so confusion, Seven of Cups is, Venus and Scorpio energy in astrology. So it's choices, it's confusion, it's extremes. You may be having extreme emotions about this. This is very connected to commitment issues, though, having a hard time committing to something. And you're just not sure what's real, what's not. Everything feels up in the air. And you do feel the beginning stages of something new. So for some of you, it's a new project. For some of you, it's just simply a new cycle in your life. It depends on what else is happening in your chart. But there's new, right? Obviously, Venus in Scorpio. Venus has to do with money. It has to do with love. It has to do with your self-esteem. Scorpio is the south node of the moon. It's all about big changes right now for the next 18 months, right? And that's just what's going on. Yeah. And you have that Pluto return. I did that long video about that Pluto return in your second house. So Venus and Mars are also, excuse me, in your second house as well. And while they are conjunct, just know that they're going to be conjunct the rest of February. So when Venus and Mars are conjunct, it's very passionate. So you're going to be feeling very passionate about something, about a creative project, about a relationship, for good or bad. Lots of passion, right? Pluto's in there too, but they're not so close. On March 3rd, they're going to be in exact conjunction. That we're going to talk about, but and that's going to be in your second house. So I actually am totally loving that for your money sector and also feeling good about yourself. So, but we'll talk about that next video. But the thing is to keep in mind too, it is squaring the nodes, the north node in Taurus, the south node in Scorpio. It's squaring it between your 6th and your 12th house, right? So you're kind of doing this, it's like there has to be this release in something within your subconscious mind that will end up serving and manifesting in a positive way in your 6th house, which rules your day-to-day. It rules your health, mental, physical, and emotional health. It's almost like, I feel like for some of you, you're very sort of sticking to your guns, stuck in a position that you're feeling that it's bothering you so much that not addressing it or not doing it may be more damaging to you than sticking to your guns. You know what I mean? But I feel like a lot of you are in this space of stuckness and confusion. But what I like here, because you want to get past something, there's no question, because this 7 of Cups of confusion is the basis for the Judgment energy. And the Judgment is Pluto, which is why I was mentioning, as a reminder that Pluto is going to be in that second house. And I feel like this is feeding into other things, like maybe like 4th house matters as well. So maybe there's this ending, you're dealing with the energy of something having to do with home, because you have Jupiter sextiling Uranus on February 17th between your 4th and your 6th house. So the 4th house is home. It's your early childhood. It's ruled by the moon, so it's maybe something having to do with your mother, or it could be your literal home, or for many of you, it could just simply be your ability to feel grounded, rooted, safe, and secure. Jupiter sextiling Uranus, guys, is a very positive thing. This is a nice thing. So that Jupiter energy being in your 4th house, the Jupiter in your 4th house, I do believe. See, I should have the charts in front of me, but I know it's the Jupiter and Uranus energy between your 4th and 6th house. So one is feeding the other. They're in a really nice alignment, idea of home and your mental, physical, emotional health. But your 6th house is your day-to-day. Your 6th house is also solving problems. But that's where we solve problems in the 6th house. So there's some sort of problem solving around a home. 6th house is also legal situation. So maybe you're selling a home, maybe you're signing the papers, or maybe some sort of deal came in and you're getting papers in the mail. Or this could have to do with something happening within the home and you sitting down and figuring it out and feeling much better after you addressing that. But there's going to be a lot of home focus for you because the sun is moving into Pisces on the 18th. Okay, sun is moving into Pisces on the 18th. Yes, in your 4th house. So Jupiter is in your 4th house. So that is this judgment energy. Is this Pluto, though, going back to that sixth house. Sorry if I seem like I was confusing you, but I wanted to go through the other placements with you for this time period. But what is judgment? I mean, judgment has to do with, first of all, you might be confused about maybe signing some sort of deal, but you do feel the beginning stages of a new project, a new job, or something like that. But it is being fed into this energy, the judgment. And when this has to do with career or money, this is acknowledgement for your success coming in, finances improving, which is great. Now, if this happens to be resonating with you on more of a relationship level, having to do with anybody, so it could be intimate, it could be friendship, family, whatever it is. This is about assessing and letting go of the past and just making a decision about the past, spiritually waking up, you know, and just spiritually waking up, right? In numerology, this is connected to both the high priestess as well as the justice energy. So you're doing a lot of processing because the high priestess is connected to the moon, and justice, of course, is a Libra energy, which is a relationship, and it also has to do with contracts. So really looking at things, I feel like you're looking at things from almost like an objective point of view, assessing everything and making this decision, I could speak, to shift everything into a new phase. So some of you are going to be, okay, let's sit down and figure out that contract. Let's sit down and discuss this relationship situation. Now, some of you, if you've been on the outs with somebody, maybe in a space where you're looking to, even though you're confused, you're recognizing that change needs to be made if you guys are going to move this into this new phase, no matter what kind of relationship it is. But there's this reconciliation for some of you is needed. Or if you are still in connection, you may have to together reconcile how something is and sit down and problem solve together. But because you have such heavy fourth house energy here as well, some of you may soon make a decision about a property, or some of you may even find yourself drawn to an old property, a place that holds very happy memories for you. So for some of you, this could be very relevant if you're selling a home and you have an emotional connection to it, and you're kind of working through how to release that. And that's always very painful. But you may be, for these last 2 weeks of February, you may be working through that. So we have the Five of Swords energy as the advice. And so this is what you need to recognize as an energy that needs to be looked at and recognized, right? So the Five of Swords is recognition that you're not living the reality that you really want. And the tension and any ongoing conflict because of this is not something that you're going to win by remaining stagnant in whatever you're in. So you're better off walking away with your grace and dignity, your anger, your disappointment, whatever it is, because you can't mitigate somebody else's stuff. You can't change the circumstances beyond what you can control. Now, it always comes back down to, what are you willing to do? Do you have more control than you think? You may not, or you may, but that's a question that you need to be throwing out there with a lot of honesty, right? Because this could also show, you being very dug into something. But it almost seems like the reality, well, no, it does seem like the reality that you're living is not exactly what you want to be living. And there's another energy that's involved in this. Maybe it's a boss, maybe it's a work situation, maybe it's society, maybe you want to go traveling, right, as a Sagittarius, and you just don't feel comfortable because of all the crazy going on in the world. Whatever the case is, there's this understanding that the life that you want to live is not what you're living. And you need to look at that. And that's what you need to lean into. That's the advice here from Spirit. Now, you're being surrounded by the Chariot. Now, this could be an energy that you're dealing with, or this could just be the energy surrounding you. Now, the Chariot in numerology is connected to the Tower, which is a necessary surrender. It really is. It's some sort of secret, some sort of truth coming to light. Could be shocking, but it's about, letting go of past patterns of relating in a very swift way change happening rather quickly. Some sort of relationship situation is like expedited. So something quickly happens. Now, this is not you inciting this. So maybe somebody else incited it, or maybe this is just the energy surrounding you that you feel like you maybe need to, to, um, to exercise, right? Quickly leaving that situation, quickly leaving anything that's toxic. But this can also indicate you moving away from toxicity towards something that's very, very positive. Now, for those of you who are dealing with like a career or money situation, surrounding you or you're dealing with somebody that incites quick changes. This can indicate also progress in any sort of business situation, pushing it forward, bringing something to fruition finally. It'll be very exciting, whatever it is. This can bring very positive news from someone else to you regarding your finances. But there's going to be a lot of hard work involved as well. So then we have your challenge here is the 7 of Torches. So you're like having a hard time defending yourself here because this is your psychological block. So, and this is like psychologically blocking you is this idea of leaving something, quitting something, right? You're having a hard time with that. Like you may be dealing with obstacles regarding something, right? You can have the strength to make it through, right? The situation, but I feel like something is getting in the way. Now, because this is very connected to your morals, your personal philosophy, what's very important to you, that very thing can actually be sticking you right now. Do you know what I mean by like holding you back in a particular way? Psychological block, psychological. She might be like, well, no, I don't want it that way, or I don't think that's right, or that kind of thing. But in reality, that might be the very thing that you might need to let go of, right? The way you see something, the way you perceive something is the very thing that might need to be, and I'm not saying sacrificed particularly, I'm saying maybe changed up or looked at a different way. Maybe just looked at through a different lens. Because we do have the 10 of Pentacles in the near future, which is great. This is Mercury in Virgo. Yes. And Mercury is all about communication, it's thoughts, and it's anything that could facilitate that. So for example, when we negotiate a contract, we have to sign it, right? So the negotiation is your energy, it's Sagittarius. But when we're signing on the dotted line, that's very Mercury. That's like Mercury, that's very Gemini Virgo energy. That's okay. We're done negotiating. Now let's sit down and talk about like the nuts and bolts of this situation and then sign. And let's look at any potential problems because we want to grow this. We want to mature this situation. We want this business or this project to do well. We want this relationship to flourish. We want to put all of like anything negative behind, and we want to focus on maturing whatever this is, deepening the commitment, having shared values and exercising that. This also has to do with property. It has to do with the legacy and inheritance. It has to do with sharing and family. So for some of you, you might be getting an investor, buying a home, selling a home, anything having to do with family, anything having to do with business. But again, it's about growth. 10 of Pentacles is also a marriage energy as well. Will you marry me? Let's move in together. And in as far as how it connects to, because remember, Pentacles is very practical. It's money, but it's also very practical. So it's like the practical connection of things. And having this very deep sort of practical conversation in order to make these things happen in an attempt to balance something out. Because we have the King of Cups here, Libra and Scorpio. So Libra is all about fairness, right? It's all about being honest because the truth has to come out here, trying to attain balance, being very open to one another's perception, whatever it is, business, friendship, family, marriage, whatever it is. This is coming up with a win-win situation, and it's being super fair. Balance and fairness really important to look at right now because this needs to change because it's Libra and Scorpio. So there's got to be some sort of like ending at least is the way that it was, right? And it's got to transform. There's got to be some sort of transformation that adopts a very fair and balanced sensibility in order for it to actually go in the way that you want. So something maybe, is not, like maybe the I's aren't dotted and the T's aren't crossed right now and things feel up in the air. And you might feel quite dug into something needing to be a particular way. And you may have every single right in the world to feel that way, but it may not be the best thing for you as far as being able to roll something out. So we have the Six of Cups, we have the Devil, we have the Seven of Swords, we have the Four of Swords. So yeah, so it definitely seems like you're stepping back for perspective right now and you're trying to figure out a different strategy going forward, because there's something that you very much wish to, I guess, balance out, right? Because we have the Six of Cups as the Sun and Scorpio energy. So you're feeling very nostalgic about something on one hand, some of you. This is a very strong desire for harmony, wanting to reconcile something, but it's being clarified by the Devil. And the Devil is all about imbalance, the idea of fairness versus not fair. I feel like that's a big thing here, but the Devil can mean anything from narcissistic tendencies to cheating to anything in balance, anything that, remember numerology, the Devil is the Lover's energy, and the Lovers is all about choosing to come together to balance something out so that a situation can work. But the Devil energy can indicate being kind of stuck. And that's being clarified by the Seven of Swords. Now, the Seven of Swords is not a very honest energy. There's some sort of dishonesty going on here. Now, this could be because maybe you were saying what you felt like someone needed to hear in the moment in order to move something forward, but you weren't being completely honest. Right? There are different levels of honesty. So I want to give the different interpretations of it. I mean, on the one hand, it could just straight up, right? I mean, the go-to for everybody is like, it's theft. It's dishonesty, it's immoral, it's, running away from responsibility, it's overstepping boundaries and selfish. Yes, it's all of those things, right? But it's also, and you could resonate with it like that, when you're dealing with somebody like that, right? The Devil energy is like you're questioning somebody's honesty, somebody's integrity, right? Somebody's boundaries and all of that. But it's all because it's also a moon in Aquarius. This could also indicate saying something that you felt like somebody needed to hear. And because it's a moon in Aquarius, moon is emotions. Aquarius is different than what I'm showing you. So it's almost like, I'm not even going to say wearing a mask. I'm saying like maybe saying what needs to be said in the moment. But that's difficult. And because it's following the Six of Cups, Sag, I feel like you might have been the one to say, yeah, we're totally going to do A, B, and C. We're going to do da, 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 da. And you might have meant it in the moment. See, that's the thing. We can't always look at the Seven of Swords through a lens of malice. Meaning, maybe you thought in the moment that you could do A, B, and C, but as time rolled on, you realized you were increasingly uncomfortable with something. So you might have promised something in the moment that you want to reconcile, because that Six of Cups is about finding the right balance in a situation after there's been some sort of mistreatment, right? Something has to be remedied here. So, maybe either you have to remedy it or somebody else. It doesn't really matter, right? The energies are always enmeshed in tarot. Most of you know that. But regardless, you're stepping back for perspective. Maybe some of you are doing some shadow work to kind of feel more grounded, to make a decision moving forward. Maybe speaking to your therapist, maybe a good friend. Do talk to somebody though, right? If you're going through that, if you do resonate with that, because we have the Swords. Swords is communication. Yeah. So we have, happiness, seven, we have the Nine of Cups, is all about happiness, Seven of Pentacles, the Fool, and then we have the Emperor reverse. Now, the going along pretty well here with this Emperor reverse. This is like power hungry, narcissistic tendencies, domineering, will say anything to get their own way, is very boundary crossing. So you want to be careful of that. You might be dealing with that because, we have the Four, so you're really thinking about how to feel happy, how to manifest your happiness, how to feel more connected to whatever's going on here. clarifying that, we have the Seven of Pentacles. Seven of Pentacles, again, is very much about, you know, hard work paying off, being very patient, very patient. And the Fool, this is a Uranus energy. Now, some of you might be just figuring out a whole different, this is, you know, again, Uranus could be like, boom, let's go. For some of you, this is a new path, a new opportunity. Let's just change the whole approach to this thing, right? And that's what you may be figuring out in the Four of Swords, is that you have to change the whole approach to something. It does seem like that. Is changing your approach, going in a different direction. And you may be going in a different direction because you're dealing with an Emperor reverse. I don't blame you. You're dealing with somebody, an Emperor reverse is somebody who, I mean, in tarot, those of you who are readers know this is one of the cards that pop up for narcissistic tendencies. So I just want to be very careful. We all have narcissistic tendencies from time to time. We all do. It's just the amount and the extent and all of that, right? But dealing with, let's just say, a really difficult personality, you're just like, I can't do this anymore. This has got to be done. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and, you know, for some of you, you know, if it has to do with career or money, this could be restructuring the whole project, restructuring in business, complete change in the circumstances. This could be a person in a position of power needs to make really tough decisions. Somebody in charge might be let go from their role. If it has to do with relationship, again, this idea of, you know, needing to end the way you guys have been getting along, because the way that it's just been too toxic. You know, this is a Mars energy, right? The red flags have been popping up all around. We don't like to look at them. And maybe, you know, we live in optimism, right? And we want to maybe fix something and hope that time will bring a different change in circumstances, which may be the Seven of Swords energy, right? Trying to hold on to something, feeling hopeful, but it came to a point where there was no more hope. And the fact that, you know, we have this Hangman energy. Now, for some of you, this can resonate differently, right? Now, for some of you, if you're resonating with this as far as like a career or money thing, things may seem pretty unclear to you right now, right? It's like something ended and then all of a sudden everything sort of seems a little bit upended here. So something seems unclear, right? Having to do with this work, this financial situation, or some sort of circumstance in your life, right? So if it does have to do with business, hold back on signing any kind of contracts or, you know, dealing with any legal matters like that, because there might be stuff going on here that you like might intuitively vibe, but you're not privy to yet. You know what I mean? So you might experience some delays, but ultimately you are protected. So that's good there. Now, if this has to do with relationship, guys, you might be in a space where, you know, you feel like you're waiting around, you know, to figure out like, now what? You know, now what? There's confusion here, right? Because it's Neptune. The Hangman is Neptune. And Neptune is very, not very clear boundaries, you know, confusion, trying to look at reality through a thick fog, a dirty window, I always say, right? But it's this, if I hang out in this, or maybe it's ending something because you felt like you were going to ultimately end up sacrificing your happiness and what it is that you wanted in your life, you know, feeling like the martyr in a situation. You felt like you had to martyr yourself, right? Neptune is a very, it's a martyring, it's got a sacrificial vibe to it, right? Very much that. Yeah, let me just pull one more. And the Two of Cups. The Five of Cups, yeah. So it looks like there's going to be some sort of conversation that's going on where something ends, but it ends before you feel fully ready for it too. It does seem like, so this could be, you know, guys, anything, right? Having to do with any part of your life. Your relationship may be great. Your job might be fabulous. This might have to do with a family situation, right? Just pull a couple of these oracles and see, go with the flow. Always a good idea. Build on solid ground. Also a good idea. Imagine solutions. Good. Yeah, because it seems like the way that you've been trying to push something is not working out, right? And this new moon in Leo is going to kind of highlight that. And I feel like for a lot of you, I feel like you're going to have a very mixed bag of emotions for a lot of you, depending on what's going on in your life. Some of you may have a combination of one part of your life being super fabulous and another part of your life being very uncomfortable. And that's just the best way for me to put it, where it's like something needs resolve and it's like you're not able to see the solution. You know, you might even be trying really hard to, but it's just not clear to you right now. Right? That could be frustrating. Okay, you know, for you. Let's go into those of you who are in relationship. Relationship are Sagittarius friends. We'll do complicated after this. Down here. I apologize. I wanted to do a different kind of spread here. This is a crowning, and then this side is you. This side is the person that you're dealing with. Okay. That's what I've been doing in all the videos. I was out of habit, went into that Celtic cross spread. All right. So we have the crowning energy here is the Three of Pentacles, right? So yeah, I mean, this is you really wanting to collaborate with somebody, come together. Just coming together and trying to figure it out, work together, right? It's a Mars and Capricorn, trying to work together on a path towards the future, right? This is actually beautiful energy. Very practical in a very practical way. So here we have you, Page of Wands, Eight of Cups. So for some of you may be in this space where, because Page of Wands is a personification of fire, right? So what's fire? Fire is Aries, fire is Leo, fire is you, right? So you may be very fired up to maybe meet somebody new as you move forward in some sort of situation. You may be, you know, I do have to say that could be because the page is the young'un of the court. So there can be an element of immaturity. And I'm not calling you immature, Sag, but I'm saying that is what the page means. It's like a very young or very new way of looking at something. And wands are will, passion, motivation, but it's also a phallic symbol, right? So for some of you, there could be this meeting somebody new but maybe you're walking away from them, or you're thinking about walking away from the relationship that you're in because it no longer kind of meets your needs, right? Because the Eight of Cups is about departure and change, and having the emotional intelligence to recognize that something doesn't feel right anymore, right? Leaving a situation emotionally and just working on yourself. So, you know, some of you, because you're very much about like collaborating and moving forward. So that's for some of you. Others of you, this Page of Wands, because page can also indicate a new cycle. So you could be very, very excited to start a new cycle and sort of end this negative cycle that you guys have been in, right? Because page is new, and 8 in Pisces, it's like, it's Saturn in Pisces, like we're never going to be happy in a relationship if we keep going in the way that we're going. Right? It really is kind of like that, looking at a situation saying, we're just never going to get there if we keep doing this. And you're all about collaborating. You want to come together. So this could be a rather frustrating energy for you. Now, for your partner, we have the Tower and the Nine of Cups. And I feel like a lot of you might have had a partner who ended things for the sake of their happiness, or they're at least talking about it. Now, for some of you, when, you know, no one's going anywhere and all of that, maybe your partner lost their job and now they're really struggling to be happy. They're trying to figure out their happiness. That could be for some of you, you know. For others of you, there's just been an abrupt change of circumstances due to your partner. Now, but you guys are together, like you would not, it's like you wouldn't consider you guys not together right now, but it definitely seems like there's some sort of challenge. And the thing is, it seems like because there's something fundamentally challenging the foundation of your relationship, there might be this wonder about, I'll be happier without you, your partner's saying, well, I'm going to just go and meet somebody else. You know what I mean? And we have this core where it's like the Eight of Cups in the Tower, right? But yet in the center card, you guys want to build together. So what's going on here? Clarifying on your end, we have the Three of Wands and we have the King of Wands. So the Three of Wands is it's the Sun and Aries energy. It's a good fortune card. This is like thriving business, very busy, intense period. Moving on to realize your plans. So maybe, you've been working on something at work or working on something, I don't know, in another part of your life, and it's finally coming into fruition, and you're dealing with all kinds of like different people and different situations, and you're just loving it, and that's being clarified by the King of Wands. And maybe you just want to be a free spirit right now. Maybe you do, maybe you do, because it does seem like this is a good time for you to express yourself, right? I mean, go after what you want. Don't allow, I always say with this energy, don't allow the idea of perfectionism to get in the way. Don't allow ego to get in the way. Don't allow any kind of fear to get in the way. Just kind of like, it does seem like you're just like, I'm going to move forward. I don't need this relationship. I mean, that's the energy that I'm getting for some of you. That's the first impression that I'm getting for some of you, the first one. Now, the Three of Wands could also indicate something coming through in your life and you being really excited about moving forward, in your life with your partner. But it's like you're dealing with, there's this idea of perfectionism and high standards and things needing to be a certain way, Sorry for the delay. I'm just getting several messages here because I feel like some of you feel very judged in the relationship. And some of you are like, I'm going to move forward and I want to be with somebody who's more self-aware, who doesn't judge people, who wants to hear about my experiences, who respects me and who respects other people, and who's communicates differently and all of that. Which is interesting because your partner's in this space where Two of Pentacles is needing to make a decision, right? There's got to be some sort of decision made about what it is that they want to do. I mean, this is a Jupiter and Capricorn energy, right? Really trying to negotiate, right? Some sort of decision regarding what they really want to do, regarding more than one path. But I don't feel like you're accepting this very well. I feel like you're kind of like, oh, really? The hell with you. I'm just going to go and meet somebody else. And I feel like that's kind of like the information that's going on here. But then we have the Eight of Wands, which is good news coming in. And this is great. If you guys have been having a really hard time, especially if you guys have been feeling held back in some way, whatever it is, it does seem like your partner wants to have some sort of communication. It does seem like that. But this seems very reactive, not responsive. Do you know what I mean? Because you guys want to build something together. You want to go the long haul, but it's like some weird situation in life is coming up. So we have the Ace of Pentacles. So a new beginning in a very practical way, needing to dedicate more time and more energy to the relationship in order for you guys to grow and be happy. I mean, that's straight up what this is. Now, the Ace of Pentacles could also mean one of you got a new job or money came to you, right? I'm only saying that because it's a Pentacle energy, right? Very auspicious it is. And you guys are going to be, but it's almost like the highway to get to where you guys want to get, right? In this Ace of Pentacle place, because it is new. It's through the Hermit. So you guys have to sit down and problem solve. You have to sit down and problem solve. And it's interesting because I feel, because I'm pulling this in the center row, I feel like you're both feeling lonely in the relationship, but I don't think you're both lonely. I just think you're not understanding each other. It's almost like you're speaking a different language. But regardless, this is about coming together and figuring out how to invest more energy and more work, a more practical approach, right? Because this is Virgo. Virgo's Earth. It's very practical, but it's ruled by Mercury, right? Mental communication. You have to sit down and problem solve about what's necessary. You guys have to communicate better. Everybody's got to get out of their egos, and everybody's got to get out of there. It's got to be this way, that way, the other way. It does seem like there needs to be compromise, but this is the outcome here, which is a deepening of the commitment. Oh, silly. Oh, silly, silly Sag. Silly Sag. Okay, hold on. Let's pull some clarifiers here through wisdom, healing yourself oracles. I feel like you guys need the healing oracles. I don't know. I feel like you guys are going through something here. Sadness. Selling out. Take off your mask. Everybody's got to sit down, and there's got to be a lot of honesty. There's got to be on, right? I'm feeling this Seven of Swords energy here with this take off your mask kind of thing. I really feel that. Who feels like they're selling out? Maybe you, maybe that, maybe you both feel like you're selling yourselves out in saying in this, but there's a lot of sadness. But that just means that you're both dug into your own camp. Got to get right. You have to, if you're resonating with this, you have to remember there are three entities in every relationship. It's you, it's them, and then the relationship. And that's where the success is going to lie. If you stay too dug into what you want, need, and desire, and they stay too dug into what they want, need, and desire, you're both working through your own lens. And then there's a lot of projection and there's a lot of disappointment. It's where you guys meet in the middle, where the compromise and the empathy hang out. And recognizing that maybe nothing is going to be perfectly the way you want it, perfectly the way they want, but it's going to be perfect for the relationship. And you're going to find a different kind of happiness unless you're willing to be without this person. Then that's different. No, then that's different. All right, my friends, that is what I have for that. Well, my goodness, I don't know. This seems rather complicated, so you might want to stick around for the next spread because you might get additional messages there, because the next spread is for those of you who are in a complicated situation. Maybe you're not together. Maybe you haven't been together. You're just still feeling each other's energy. Maybe you're together, but you feel miles and miles apart, right? This I'm going to do a Celtic cross. So, because there'll be a position for your person here. Okay. Coming into this energy, feeling a lot of anxiety about some sort of situation. It does seem like there's a situation going on, Sagittarius, that needs resolve. I feel like for the moment, it almost seems like this immovable kind of thing, but you're showing up here, your center card here is the Queen of Pentacles. Very practical. Pentacles has to do with money. This is a Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, right? So it's you and Cap, right? So this is about like what is honestly needed to move forward, because Capricorn being ruled by Saturn, it has to do with long term. And so there's got to be some sort of solution, like what is needed, right? Support, affection, generous energy, right? This is an energy where, and you're trying to take care of yourself right now. It does seem like that. Taking care of your body, trying to take care of your finances, you're trying to just, in a very practical way. But when it comes to this connection, you're having a very hard time tempering it. You're having a hard time cooperating, a hard time reconciling. You're having a hard time trusting. You've been through a very volatile time period with this individual, but you're having a hard time healing it, right? And now in numerology, this is connected to the Hierophants. You may be married to this person because it's a marriage card, but it also has to do with expectations and the needing to conform to expectations. And that might be a huge challenge for you right now, for whatever reason. Very hard for you. So we have the basis of the situation that's feeding the current situation, right? In this space where we have the Two of Cups, right? So now the Two of Cups is a nice energy, right? It's Venus and Cancer. It's, Venus is all about fairness. Cancer has to do with home. It has to do with security. So it's fair, and it's this mutual supportive conversation that needs to happen, which I feel like you're having a hard time doing because we have the Temperance showing up as a block, right? But this does indicate things are difficult. Harmony can return. You can nurture the relationship. and be able to move it forward. As it's like the Two of Cups, feeling this, it's like having a conversation about how you guys can actually move it forward, right? It's the wheel, it's moving forward. It's Jupiter, which is about moving forward. It's your ruler, which is about moving forward, right? But it's a turning point, and having a conversation about that turning point and needing to go out on a limb and take some sort of chance and throw a caution to the wind. Like there's something that you're very afraid of here having to do with this relationship, right? But this can also indicate reconciliation, and thinking about what's been going on up to this point, figuring out how to not perpetuate that. But destiny's at work here for sure. Absolutely. It's always that, that ninth house energy, guys, remember, it's ninth house is where you meet God. The 11th house is where he speaks to us, but the ninth house is where and that's your house, right? You guys are the ninth house. This is where the full moon is. There's a lot of truth there, but you might be a little uncomfortable with the truth of something right now, or what's necessary in order to move something forward. Now, the advice that you have to pay attention to that might be going on is the Four of Cups, right? You may be experiencing this, which, this kind of like, this is moon in Cancer. The moon is an energy of disappointment and confusion and feeling like somebody let you down and feeling this trust that the relationship is actually going to work. And, when it comes to feeling safe and secure, and it could have something to do with a literal home, right? Just because it's a moon in Cancer. But this can be an idea of disillusionment, and are things ever going to be peaceful? Are things ever going to be okay? But what the advice is saying here, Sag, is that you need to heal something from your past. Now, that's not to say that you're not valid in thinking and feeling A, B, and C about whatever is going on or has gone on. That's not what it means. It just means that you have to heal something from your past that is showing up as an issue in you being able to process this circumstance, this turn of events in a different way. Now, the person that you're dealing with is worried about their security and protecting themselves. Is the Sun in Capricorn. So there's just a focus on their future here. Sun is focused, Capricorn has to do with the future and long-term goals. She's dealing with somebody who's just nervous about that. Your psychological block, Knight of Cups. This is a proposal. This is your block. You're having a hard time reaching out to them. This is Aquarius and Pisces. Now, Aquarius is doing something different, and Pisces is your dreams, right? So it's about coming in and offering something different so that you can actually find that joy, but you're having a hard time bringing yourself to do it because you're almost like, damn it, no way, I'm not doing it. But you want to look at why you're not doing it. And some of you, and I don't mean to trigger anybody, because some of you are like, well, let me tell you why I'm not doing it. And that all may be true, right? But then, the harder thing is then on the other side of it, okay, then let it go. Then if it really, you know what I mean? Like it's a thing where it's like, if it's reached a point, either fix it or let it go. Like that's the kind of thing. And, we hate those black and white kind of circumstances, but even though there are so many complexities involved in that, in the near future, we have the Two of Swords. Yeah, I mean, the Two of Swords is being in an emotional stalemate with yourself. This is Moon in Libra. So your emotions are very wrapped up in what's fair, what's not fair. It's wrapped up in the truth of the situation, what's true, what's not true. I'm not sure. But it's almost, keep in mind, like we have two swords here. So there's got to be this level of like detached objectivity about what's going on, right? But at the same time, you're in this space because there's a moon and it's Moon in Libra, right? Libra is the air, but moon is emotions. You're in this emotional stalemate. You need to make a decision. This whole thing is just not going to go away on its own, right? This complicated situation does need at some point addressing, but you feel like you want to protect yourself. So, stand your ground and say whatever your piece needs, whatever your piece is, say it, whatever you think, whatever it is. There's some sort of decision that needs to be made about your future. And it's going to be made in very kind of detached, again, Capricorn and Aquarius, again, doing something different here. This is Aquarius and Pisces, and here we have Capricorn and Aquarius. So you're being called to look at things differently right now in order to move forward in some sort of situation that's going on here. Okay, so we have the Five of Pentacles. So some of you may be in a space where you might need to be asking somebody for help right now. Could be, maybe financial help having to do with the relationship, emotional help. Because with the Seven of Wands, you may be in a space where you're trying to fight for the relationship, but you need help. So maybe a therapist, maybe if it has to do with like how you guys are connecting with each other, maybe somebody for financial assistance, right? If finances are an issue, something like that. But it's about considering new options that are going to help you see your way forward. And then it does look like some sort of new option coming in. I mean, the Ace of Pentacles is either somebody getting a new job, dealing with things in a different way. And we have the Hermit again. Time to invest more in this relationship and problem solve. It seems like that's what's necessary here if you guys want to make this work. We have the King of Pentacles and the Empress and the Emperor. Wow, those are really nice cards, guys. Really nice. This is a very practical approach to being able to grow your relationship. And there's got to be some very practical, I'm going to say practical a million times here, but a very sort of practical approach to talking about the future and how things are going to roll out for the sake of your marriage or the sake of your serious relationship or the sake of meeting expectation, meaning like you guys had a conversation and expectations need to be, and that might sound controlling and uncomfortable, but we always have certain expectations, right? There's got to be a conversation about how things are going to roll out. And then what's promised or what's figured needs to be met. And you guys are going to be fine. You have to master it. Those of you in a complicated space, though, it's going to be work. It's going to be, there's going to be work involved. There's going to be work involved. You do feel that. But it does look like you have the energy to resolve. Round and round. Same damn thing keeps happening. Listen. Okay. The human condition just is. Unless you have certain things in your charts, guys, it's more often than not that there are cyclical circumstances in most relationships in life, period, right? I mean, it just kind of is like that. Again, it depends on what else. Oh, this wanted to come out, message in the bottle. I pulled that the wrong way, so let's give that and peace. Okay, look, message in the bottle. Look, the stalk represents a new life. The water is emotions. The bottle and the phone in the bottle is a mode of expression. So really, this is about you needing to express what it is that you're really feeling so that you can move forward and have this new cycle, this new life with this person that you totally care about. You absolutely do. But you have to talk about, and and for those of you who are like, I don't want to talk about the past. The past is the past. It's done and done. All that, try not to do that to yourself, because sometimes things need to be healed in layers from the past. Even anything that you're feeling, any pain that you're feeling, it's got to be validated. Everybody's got to be honest, though, about all of that, right? If you're going to talk about the past, it's got to be talked about in a very honest way, right? But it does seem like that is the very thing that's going to end up bringing peace to the situation. So it could be a little challenging for the ego, but it does look like the payoff is worth it in the end. So my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. A couple of seeds of thought. Thank you so much for hanging with me. I will see you guys this week to discuss the beautiful energy that's rolling out in March. Yay. All right, guys, until then, stay blessed. Bye bye.